Hey, Tri-Cities, if you got game,
get on the scoreboard.
Starlight Sports Productions present the Scoreboard Sports Show, brought to you in part by Fanatics and the Doubletree by Hilton Johnson City, Sir Speedy Printing and Marketing Services, Craig's Crown Cuts, Look Sharp, Be Official, and Off the Grid Inc., helping you get off the grid everywhere under the sun.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for the first live taping of the Scoreboard Sports Show, brought to you by Starlight Sports Productions. The Scoreboard Sports Show is a regionally focused sports show that will be airing on WKPT TV 19 at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings. We will feature the region's student athletes and coaches. We will provide a sports medicine specialist to provide information on injury prevention and rehabilitation. We will bring you all the current events on ETSU, our region's university. And as we say on the show, got game, get on the scoreboard. This segment brought to you by Off the Grid Inc. And we'd like to take this opportunity to thank Fanatics inside the Doubletree Hotel by Hilton and Johnson City.
Hi, I'm Larry Grogan of Grogan Advisory Services. At Tri-Cities, stay tuned because there's a brand new sports show coming up called the Scoreboard Sports Show. Stay tuned, it's coming right up on this channel.
Viewers, welcome back to the Scoreboard Sports Show, and we're here with our first guest, Coach Mike Wilson of Elizabethton High School. Coach Wilson, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you, and appreciate you having me here.
All right. Well, Coach, you know, our show, we talked a little bit briefly about our show and about what we feel our show can do, and we'd just like for you to give us a little idea of what you know about the region and what you think a show like this can do for the local athletes in our region.
Well, you know, one of the things I think everybody gets carried away with is kids playing at the next level, playing in college and all of that, and I think that's a great goal, but I always tell parents that's not a reason for your son or daughter to participate. There's a lot of great things in athletics, life lessons, and again, a scholarship is a great goal. It's not a reason to play. And I think a show like this, for a student athlete that has the ability to play at the next level, it'll give them a great opportunity for more exposure, which will certainly help those student athletes in the future. But I think even for those who may not have that ability to play at the next level, it'll make it more exciting for them, it'll make it more fun for them, it'll make it a special time. And I think all of us that participated in athletics at the high school level, I never played anything in college, but at the high school level, it's very important to those young people, you know, and anything that I think that enhances that experience for them and makes them feel good about what they're doing is a great thing. And I think it's very important, you know, that kids feel what they're doing is worthwhile and that they have a sense of belonging to a team or an organization, and the fact that it gives them a sense of self-worth.
Right. And Coach, you know, we'd really like to ask you a couple of questions about Elizabethton High School. It's come to our attention that Elizabethton has been doing quite well from last year. I think hiring of a new basketball coach, and boy, the kids just kind of took it and ran with it, you know, for the rest of the year. So could you elaborate a little bit about the athletic department and how things are looking at Elizabethton High School?
Well, we've had a very successful year in terms of winning, and that just begins with student athletes. I don't care who your coaches are. If you don't have gifted student athletes, you're not going to be successful in terms of winning. You know, and the success means different things at different places, and it's not all about winning. It's really about are your student athletes achieving what they should? Are they improving? Are they fulfilling their potential or getting as close to it as they possibly can? But we've had a great year at Elizabethton High School. We've had girls soccer went to the state tournament. Football was in the Final Four. Girls basketball was in the Final Four in the state tournament. Boys basketball team one very controversial call away from going to the state. We had a lot of swimmers go, we had a lot of wrestlers go, we had cross-country athletes go. Then in the spring, our baseball team, which was young, and no one thought our baseball team would do what they did, and they came on and got better as the year went on. and made it to the state tournament. And we had some track athletes do the same. Our girls golf team won the district for the first time in their history. So we had a great year. We really did. We had a great year, and we're just thrilled with the way this year went.
Well, you know, Coach, you spoke a little bit earlier about student athletes and the things that they do. You know, how do you feel your kids are doing academically? I mean, do you feel like that the kids at Elizabethton High School are fulfilling that academic potential to move on to the next level?
Well, I think that our test scores would reveal that they are. I know that we have a good academic institution. We have a great school. I believe that with all my heart. And it's a total program. I really, and I'm tooting our own horn a little bit, but it's just when you take the academics and the athletics involved, and we also have a state champion band and, a great choral department. I think it's a great opportunity for the kids in Elizabethton. And we're getting a lot of kids coming in, not just in Elizabethton City, but we have a lot of tuition paying students, and I think that it's a great bargain. And I'm bragging on our own school, but I believe that with all my heart. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't say it. I've seen the test scores in our system and compared to other systems, and we do very well. And I think our athletic department does very well, and I think it's just a great educational opportunity for our kids.
Yes. Well, Coach, what's going on at Elizabethton? Can you let us know anything that might be coming around the corner, some kind of a little tidbit of news that you might maybe not supposed to tell somebody, or you may want to tell us a little bit about?
Well, I don't think it's news to anybody that we're trying to build a sports complex, and it would include a football stadium and track. We haven't had a home track meet in years because we don't have the surface to do it. Our football stadium, its location, it's off campus. It's at the T.A. Duggar campus, and we bus our kids up there for games. The parking is insufficient, totally insufficient. There are issues with the dressing facilities up there. There's just a lot of problems. We need more seating. I've got a waiting list for season tickets with 50, 60 names on it, everybody wanting 3 and 4 tickets. That's a lot of money that we're just leaving out there that we could be making. And so we've been working on that for years. That's not a secret or any. Do I have any big bombshell news to lay on you? Not really yet. I think I will tell you this, I'm more optimistic than I have been in the past. I will be more surprised if it does not become a reality than if it does. I think we're moving in that direction, and hopefully we're going to be able to make it happen. But there's still some work to do.
Is there anything that the community can do to help you? What would you like to see Elizabethton's community do to help you and the school support student athletes in your community?
Well, we get tremendous support now. We're a small town, small community, small school, 750 kids, and it's hard, to ask for anything more than what we've already, what people are doing. People dig deep in their pocketbook and they help us, and we ask them a lot, and we hit some of the same people over and over, but they're very gracious and they understand. I just keep sending us the great kids that they've sent us in the past and that we currently have, and just continue to be supportive as they have been in the past.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you for coming out today for us and being on the Scoreboard Sports Show, and we'd like to thank you very much. And if there's anything ever that the show or us can do to help support you and your efforts, please let us know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you letting us be here and talk about Elizabethton High School.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Dale Fair. I'm the host of Fair Game on the Scoreboard Sports Show. Stay tuned. Off the Grid Inc. is the Tri-City's best choice for solar products and installation. Let Off the Grid Inc. increase your use of clean, green solar energy. We provide systems for residential and commercial needs. With a smart investment, solar can supplement your energy needs or take you completely off the grid. Off the Grid Inc. wants to help you reduce your carbon footprint with your own solar system. Call us today at 423-278-0720 to get you started toward energy independence with Off the Grid Inc.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard Sports Show, and we're here this afternoon with Dr. Benjamin England. Thank you for coming out, Dr. England.
You're welcome.
It's good to see you. Dr. England is works at Buck Sports here in Johnson City, and Doctor, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Johnson City and that sort of thing?
I'm a primary care sports medicine doctor. I work with Appalachia Orthopedics and Buck Sports. We try to take care of the athletes in the region, and including ETSU. And I trained and grew up in Maryville, Knoxville area, and then did my training at UT. Then been with Appalachia Orthopedics and Buck Sports for about 1.5 years, and I've been working there. I'm very glad to be here.
Well, Doc, it's good to have you here. You know, we're blessed to have you here. It's very nice for you to be here. You know, and Doc, as you know, our show is going to be focused on regional athletes, high school athletes, and we're going to do some things with ETSU as far as coverage and that sort of thing. Can you tell us a little bit about what you think a medical segment within our show could help for the local student athlete?
Yes, the whole point of the medical segment is mainly education, because that's really where you can make a big difference, especially in the young people and the families. But overall, it should be fun. Also, there'll be a lot of different types of medical professionals introduced through the whole segment, and it should be very informative.
All right, thanks, Doc. Well, you know, what we'd like to ask you is to just kind of give us an overview of the whole sports medicine thing. You know, what are some of the issues that you see on a regular basis that kids could do better as far as helping themselves perform better, and that sort of thing?
One big one right now is nutrition. I think mainly the younger kids, middle school, high school level, and even some of the college level, we're kind of lacking in the nutrition department. Some of the programs are better than others, of course. I think this time of year it's about getting used to the weather, training outside, the heat, especially when football comes around this August. Those are the two big ones right now in our area.
Okay. Well, you know, Doc, how important is rest for an athlete?
Rest is probably one of the most important things, because when you exercise, when you work out, you lift weights, you run, you basically recover all of that damage you do to your body while you sleep. And good sleep is very imperative, and if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not recovering enough, and that can catch up to you. You won't perform quite as well, you won't be as strong and fast as you need to be, and it makes a huge difference for an athlete. Stretching
and some of the simpler things. You know, I know a lot of athletes love to get in the gym and love to work out and love to shoot the ball and love to run up and down the court, but how important is stretching and some of the non-traditional, what kids kind of hate to do kind of thing? How important is that?
Most athletes hate to stretch, at least to some extent. Stretching is important for most sports because it does make you more fluid in your movements. It does make you more effective for your running and jumping, things like that. And it ultimately does prevent injuries if it's done consistently and done correctly. A warm-up is a good part of that. You should never stretch muscles cold if you can help it. But after the workout, the stretching gets more blood flow to the muscles, helps the recovery a little bit faster, and usually helps that sleep even work a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you name about 5 things that most athletes should know, basic things that they should know to be able to stay healthy? Yeah. We know that injury is going to happen in sport, but that they can be at the optimum level. Yeah.
I think I've touched on a couple of them already. Of course, being in top performance is rest, nutrition, stretching, getting prepared. A lot of it's the postseason. A lot of it's getting ready. This is the time of year when people are getting ready for example, football season and cross-country season. They're doing a lot of the extra work. Cross-country's very big in cross-training because they don't want those stress injuries and things like that. So cross training is important, and probably acclimatization. That's really just getting used to this type of weather, because heat stroke and heat illness is still a big problem at the high school level, particularly in football.
And Doc, one area that is getting a lot of attention right now in high school, particularly football, but this issue can come up in any sport, and that's concussions. Can you speak a little bit about?
I can talk a lot about concussion. That's one of my favorite subjects to talk about, really. But with the new legislation, the real point of it is to for recognition and prevention of concussions, or prevention of second injuries, which are the real the bad side effect of concussions, the real dangerous episodes. So it's about educating the athletes, the parents, the coaches. And you'll see a lot of mandatory education as part of that. And also, when a patient or athlete is suspected of having a concussion, they're going to need to be evaluated by a healthcare professional. And that can be anyone from a licensed healthcare provider like an athletic trainer to a physician or physician's assistant. So the law is still relatively broad the way it's spelled out, but it's going to change things a little bit for us. Yeah. But ultimately for the better. For the better. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you know, Doc, we'd like to ask you, what is your role kind of going to be as far as it relates to ETSU and the new athletic situation over there? You know, football's coming back. Everybody's happy. Everybody's glad. Well, not everybody, but you know what I'm talking about. Most people. Where do y'all stand? Will y'all be taking care of some of those? Do you already take care of those athletes at ETSU? We do, and part of Appalachia Orthopedics, we take care of the ETSU athletes. Myself and several of our surgeons and the other team physician, Dr. Mills, we all take care of them, and that's what we plan on doing for the football players as well. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you know, Doc, we really appreciate you being here today. Hopefully you can stay with us for a little while and have a bite to eat, because we're here at Fanatics at the DoubleTree, and they provided this wonderful spread for us, so hopefully you can hang around for a little while and fill up before you go. But we want to thank you again for coming on our show, for giving us a little insight as to what our medical segments are going to be about, and we really appreciate that.
No problem. Happy to be here.
And we'll be right back with more of the Scoreboard Sports Show.
It's the day, it's finally arrived. It's your wedding day. It's the moment you've been waiting all your life. It's your wedding day.
Ah, your wedding day, that one special day in your life you'll never forget. So let Venture Productions capture all those special moments at your wedding for you to treasure a lifetime. Our approach to videography is one of creativity and excellence. Call Venture Productions for your video services.
It's the moment you've been waiting all your life. It's your wedding day. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Today we're here with Mike Smith, former linebacker at ETSU, and Mike, we're glad to have you here today, and we'd just like for you to talk a little bit about what all's going on and what it means to you to be back, and how do you feel about ETSU football?
Well, it's great to be back here in the Tri-Cities area, seeing a lot of old friends, getting to see guys that I haven't seen for a long time. We were either a little heavier or a little less hair, or a little lighter hair, but it's been a fun opportunity to see all these guys. A lot of fun times in terms of telling stories, and everybody's really excited about the opportunity that is in front of us in terms of football returning to ETSU. As a former football player, I'm very excited that Dr. Nolan, Dr. Sander, and Coach Fulmer have put football on the fast track, and it's going to be very important for all of us to get in and support our program, because it will not only help our university, but it'll help the local high schools as well.
Well, Mike, we really appreciate you being here. We really appreciate all that you do for the university. We wish you all the luck in the world. We know that your career here has expanded and in a wonderful way, and we in turn support you as well.
All right, thank you very much.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard Sports Show, and we're very happy to have with us this morning a board member of BASA, president of the Morning Rotary Club, and the co-host of Business Matters, a radio talk show on WETS that comes on Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. Mr. Larry Grogan. It's again, Larry. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being here on our show. We're very honored to have you here. Trust me, yes, we are. And you know why we're here. You know, our show is kind of geared to the local community. We want to reach out to that local student athlete, and we want to acknowledge what they do, and we want to kind of lift them up and that sort of thing. And we'd just like for you to talk a little bit about what you think a show like this can do for the community and the region as you know it.
Well, Calvin, it's going to do an awful lot. Number one, it's going to highlight a lot of the great athletic programs throughout the area, whether it's the high school level, the college level, as well as the different types of sports. You know, people are familiar with football, baseball, basketball, but there's tennis, there's soccer, there's track and field. There's so many variety of different types of sports in this area that some people have exposure to and some don't. For example, at ETSU, in addition to the athletic competition that goes on a regular basis, ETSU has just been designated as an official U.S. Olympic weight training facility now. So those are the types of things that your show has the opportunity to really broaden the spectrum and knowledge of athletics in this particular region.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, another thing that's kind of important to folks now, and you know this firsthand, is dollars and cents. You know, money matters. You know, what can shows like this, in conjunction with what ETSU is doing as far as football, what does football have to do with money?
Well, obviously, there's a lot that it does with money. First of all, you've got to have money to play the sport. So there's going to be a tremendous amount of fundraising going on with ETSU through BASA, the Buccaneer Athletic Scholarship Association, to try to get people engaged in the program, get them excited about the program. And of course, we're going to be raising a lot of money for that. We've started what's called the Kickoff Fund, where we're asking everyone to contribute $250. That's it, just $250. And if we can raise that type of money, we can get the program up and running on a very successful level from the word go. But then once the program's established, there's going to be dollars coming into the community. People want to come see the football games. They're going to go to the gas stations to fill up their gas, you know, their cars with gas. The grocery stores for tailgating, hotels, facilities like Fanatics here is going to benefit from that type of exposure that you're going to provide with your show. The competition of football as well as other sports will draw people to this area. You'll draw them from different parts of the area and be able to expand on the economic benefit that any athletic program is going to bring.
Well, Larry, how can and you kind of answered this question with the kickoff program, but in other ways, how can the community support the BASA program and other programs that are out there raising money for local sports?
Well, as far as BASA is concerned, we get involved in all the sports, whether it's baseball, tennis, track and field, soccer. We need money to support these scholar athletes, provide them the financial well-being so that they can focus not only on their athletics, but the academics as well. So any time that we can raise money and participate in the community for those types of programs, you know, we're going to be there. You know, basketball is obviously at this point the highlight sport. We've got some new coaches, some new programs coming up this year, particularly on the ladies' side. So we're very excited about the new coaches that are coming in. And so we need the people to come out and support these programs, whether it's attending the games, special functions where players are introduced to the community, and just get involved and hopefully come out and buy preferably season tickets, but at least come out to a few games once in a while and see what it's all about. It's going to be exciting. We've made some huge changes to the arena, around the court area. We've got some nice LED lighting that will provide advertising. So as business owners like myself have the opportunity to promote their business in front of a pretty large audience. And so it gets great exposure for the local businesses as well.
And let me ask you this, the BASA program is a student athlete funded, that program funds scholarships for student athletes.
That's absolutely correct.
Those student athletes have to maintain certain grade point averages to keep their scholarship, don't they?
They do.
So they're not just athletes, they're student athletes.
In fact, you're absolutely correct. We prefer to call them scholar athletes. And the reason for that is pretty amazing. If you take a look at all this athletes encompassing all the sports at ETSU, and if you take a look at the collective GPA of our scholar athletes, it's actually higher than the general student population. So our scholar athletes not only perform on the field, the courts, wherever it might be, but they're performing in the classroom as well. And you know as well as anybody, these scholar athletes have to put in a lot of time to their sports. They travel, they're on buses, planes sometimes, in hotel rooms, so their downtime is very limited. But for them to be able to maintain such a high academic level is really amazing.
Well, can you say one thing to maybe the high school athletes, as you speak of that about the student scholar athletes? What can you say to young kids that are really into their sport?
Well, that's pretty simple. Number one, you've got to have it. If you don't have the academic grades, you're not going to get that opportunity for a scholarship. So that's first and foremost. If you're a high school student and maybe your grades aren't up to where they need to be, ask for assistance. Your teachers will be more than happy to give you the guidance and the additional time and information that you need to get those grades up to where they need to be. And then once you get that scholarship, for example, coming to ETSU. ETSU has a wonderful program to assist all the scholar athletes in a room where they can focus and study. They've got tutors, they got mentors, and that's what a high school student needs to look for as well while they're in high school. But then once they get recruited, find out what's going to be available to them at that university as well, so that they can continue that education, because the likelihood of someone maintaining a professional athletic career is pretty limited. So you need to have that academic background with you so that you can take it to wherever you want to go for the next level of your life.
Yes. Well, I've heard it called the fifth quarter,
yes.
So many times. But, Larry, we really want to appreciate you coming out and being with us here at Fanatics. We hope that you enjoy some of the wonderful food that they've provided for us today. Our show is really important to us, and we really hope that we can really do the right thing with our show, and starting out with a guy like you really kind of helps us do that. Welcome to the Scoreboard Sports Show, everyone. Thank you, Larry, for being here for us, and we'll be back again next week.